Hi guys, today I'm going to recommend 10 more books for beginners, and I have made like 3 or 4 videos in the past about books for beginners as well, so you can check them out after you watch this video. If you're a starter in reading, if you want to get started with reading, if you want to read light books, or if you're just not good with words yet and want books that will be easy to understand, this is the video that will help you find those exact books. I have tried to pick books from all types of genres, for all types of ages, so I hope that you will find something for yourself, for somebody you want to make a reader in this video. So without any further ado, let's get started with this video. The first book that I'll recommend for any type of beginner is Neil Gaiman's books. Today I'm going to recommend The Graveyard Book, but there are several other books by Neil Gaiman which beginners can read, such as Coraline or the Sandman series. Personally, I love Coraline, but today I'm going to recommend The Graveyard Book because it is set in a graveyard. So if you want some fun in a graveyard, that is a horror setting, yes, this is the book that you must be picking. This book is also available in a graphic novel format, so if you don't want to read text yet, you can get the graphic novel format of the book, which is full of illustrations, and this is absolutely perfect for gifting to children, because when children are reading, they don't like these types of books. When I was a kid, I judged a book by the number of images it had, and let me know in the comment sections if you also looked for pictures in books when you are a child. The next book will be a recommendation for people above 14 or 15, and that is Malice by Kigo Higashino. Those who watch my channel know how much I loved Malice when I read it a few months back, and this is a book by Kigo Higashino, who's very famous for his book called Devotion of the Suspect X, which was sort of, not copied exactly, but inspired by, and we saw that in Drishyam. Now the thing is, Malice is way better than Devotion of Suspect X. I have no idea why Devotion of Suspect X is much more hyped than this. Malice has no plot holes. I think that Devotion of Suspect X had plot holes. I think Devotion of Suspect X was comparatively difficult to understand, but Malice is easy, and the language is also pretty easy. It's written in a diary type of format, so if you're getting started with reading, I think diary format helps a lot because it's sort of conversational. I know that when I got started with reading, I loved diary entries because it is so conversational and so personal. So if you want to read something thrilling, mysterious, yes, Malice is the book you should go for. If you are advanced, I'll ask you to go for Agatha Christie or Arthur Conan Doyle's books, but they are definitely not for beginner reading. Next, I'll recommend you a self-help sort of a book called Unfuck Yourself. Now, this book is available on Storytel. Actually, I'm listening to this on Storytel, and the link to a 30-day free trial of Storytel will be in the description below. Now, the thing is, Unfuck Yourself is about how we just fill our mind with self-doubt, anxiety and negative shit all the time, and that sort of pulls us down. So our thoughts determine our actions, and our actions determine our results. So if we think negative things all the time, we'll probably end up doing negative actions, and we'll probably end up with negative results. So Unfuck Yourself is a pretty easy read. It's about 3.5 hours, and the language is pretty easy as well. So if you want to read something that will help you be a better person, yes, this is the book that you should go for. If you take interest in mythology, I will ask you to go for Devlok by Devdutt Pattanayak or any other book by Devdutt Pattanayak. His books are absolutely awesome. The language is pretty easy, and he highlights several mythological and historical tales very simply, and there are so many complicated things that I wanted to know about, that I wanted to learn about, that I discovered in his books. He explains them so easily, they seem pretty believable. I am not a believer, but I do like expanding my knowledge and then judging whether I believe in something or not. So I really liked reading Devlok by Devdutt Pattanayak. He has written several other books. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check them out, and you can get any that interests you. Devlok basically is a collection of several questions and answers about several things about mythology and history of India. So if you are interested, yeah, you should grab this book. But if you want to read something of the Greek mythology, I suggest you go for Circe by Madeline Miller. I have already made a review of this book on my channel. It was quite some time ago, so I'll leave a link in the description, but I'm definitely not at my best in that video. So please do check it out, but don't judge me. The thing is, Circe is about this amazing sorceress who is a badass, and I loved reading about Circe. I've read Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller too, which won a prize, but I did not like it that much. Comparatively, it was also difficult to read. Circe is easier, but yes, it's not as easy as Devlok by Devdutt Pattanayak, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm giving you two options in mythology in today's video. Next book I'll recommend is Heidi by Johanna Spyri. This was one of my favorite animations to watch when I was a kid, and I totally forgot where I used to watch it, but it was my favorite. It's about Heidi who lives in the mountains with her grandfather, and then she has to go away. Obviously, when you've lived amidst nature, it's very hard to leave, and Heidi is of course suffering for that longing to be back home in the mountains. It's a lovely story. I don't even remember at what age I discovered this, but it used to make me so happy and sad at the same time. Heidi is definitely a book you should grab. I really love this cover. This book is from Rupa Publications, but there are several covers of Heidi available online. You can get any. The content is basically the same, but I do have a thing for cute covers, and this is perfectly a book that I like to give my sister or a small child, but you can read it as an adult as well. The next recommendation will be Leo Tolstoy books. Specifically, I read The Death of Ivan Ilyich recently on Storytel, and I read it as an audiobook format obviously, but I do have a short story collection of Leo Tolstoy as well. I used to have one in Bengali, which was my mother tongue, when I was very young as well. His language is extremely easy. Most of his stories are moralistic, but a few of them also have other meanings than that. So if you pick up something like Anna Karenina, you will not understand if you're a beginner. That is why I suggest to pick up short stories of Leo Tolstoy or this book called Death of Ivan Ilyich. It was amazing, and although like it's more on the moralistic side, I don't think there's any reason why you won't enjoy it. But yeah, I know there are people who don't like moral stories after the value education classes we used to get in school, but I really like Leo Tolstoy's language, and one of my favorite stories from Leo Tolstoy is about these farmers. Okay guys, story time, a break from this video. Let me tell you this story. So this is about an old couple who lost everything, and then they became workers, and everybody saw them and pitied them because at a certain point of time they had so much and now they have almost nothing. So the place where they work, I think the master's friends came to their place and the master told them about their misfortune, but they saw that the couple is very happy, so they invited that couple and asked them to say why they are so happy even though they have lost everything, and they said that now we have less worries, now we can sleep peacefully. I really loved that story. It is absolutely beautiful. It was so simple. I think it was just 5 pages. I forgot the name of the story. I'm so sorry, but I really wanted to share this story with you guys in today's video. Now let's resume the video. Now the next book that I'll recommend is a non-fiction, which is Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk is a very familiar name to anybody who wants to be a businessman, entrepreneur, anybody who wants to follow their dreams, passion, and make a living out of it. And Crushing It is a book where he teaches how you can do exactly what you want to do using the power of social media. And although like I don't like all the parts of this book, most of them are pretty relevant if you want to make a career on YouTube, Instagram, or any other social media platform. TikTok to bhi ban ho gaya. He also wrote about TikTok, but it was Musically back then when he wrote it though. So yeah, the thing is it's pretty funny how some things don't match now, because social media world is obviously changing all the time, but most of it is relevant. And since my career is also based on social media, I find it relevant as well. And anybody who wants to do this, follow their passion and monetize it, yes, you have to read Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Now there's another version of this book called Crush It, which is like an early, it's like a prequel, but it's not as relevant as this. So if you want to buy a book by Gary Vaynerchuk, Crushing It is the one that you should be going for. The next book that I'll recommend is The Boy in Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. This is a very sad read, and if you want to read something sad, if you want to read something depressing, yes, this is the book you should be going for. The language is pretty simple. It primarily follows a boy called Bruno, a small boy whose father shifts, and he comes to this strange area where there's no one else, and then there he meets this boy in striped pajamas who looks pretty strange. I can't give away more than that, otherwise I'll be, revealing the plot. But the last chapter, the plot twist was one of the greatest plot twists I've ever read, and I didn't understand what happened. I flipped back once again, and then I realized what happened, and I cried for 2 days because it was so good. It was so good. So if you want to read something depressing, yes, Boy in Striped Pajamas is the book that you should be going for. If you want to start reading short stories, I can't recommend you anyone except Ruskin Bond. There are numerous short story collections of Ruskin Bond. My favorite ones are definitely the ghost ones, but you can choose your own favorite. And if you want to read something romantic, I think the best sort of romance is the ones that I find in Jojo Moyes books. Specifically Me Before You, which is her most famous book of all time. So you can pick it, you can pick any other book by her. All her books are pretty simple to read, so I don't think you'll face any sort of problem in reading them. There are also movies. Now I do suggest watching movies if you are a beginner in reading, because it will help you understand the plot better and faster. Because most beginners face a problem in understanding what's happening chapter after chapter, especially when the language does not express what happened immediately. And that is one trick that good writers use. They don't tell you this happened and this happened and then that happened. They tell you the outcome and you have to understand what happened. So if you're facing problems in reading or understanding your read, for that reason, you should watch the movie before you read the book. I don't suggest this usually, but again, if it helps you become a reader, do anything that you want. I hope that today's video helped you, and these 10 books will make you a reader. If you want to watch more videos of mine where I highlight books for beginners, click the links in the description below. They will all be there. All the links to buy these books are in the description below. Some of these books are also available on Storytel. So a link to a 30-day free trial of Storytel is also in the description below, storytel.com/Helly. And after that, it's just $2.99 per month. I really wanted to make this video last week, but there were some problems. So finally this video is here, and I hope that you like it. I'm also shooting in a different location. How's my new chair, by the way? I really like it. I got it from Pepper Fry, cost a fortune, but I really like it. So I really wanted to show this. I'll probably show you this in a larger scale on my IG stories. So follow me on Instagram if you're not already. It's the Helly blog. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Till my next video, bye bye.